So maybe this is another unpopular opinion, but I feel like you should have to live with the repercussions of your vote. And if you don't want to live with the repercussions of your vote, maybe you should actually vote a different way. But if you do vote that way, then you should have to live with that repercussion of your vote. And if it causes you to go bankrupt and for you to lose everything, then so be it. That is on you. So I hope going forward that you've learned from this and that you will vote a different way and vote for something that actually is for your best interest. Most likely you probably won't. I guess we'll see.
Nebraska farmers are starting to go bankrupt. Now there's different reasons why this is happening, but let me give you two of the main reasons. The cost of the supplies and labor shortages. I don't know, Nebraska. Thoughts and prayers. All right, guys, out.
Montana and Nebraska farmers are now bankrupt. Why can't they just fucking work harder? Like, bro, why the hell are they trying to, like, get handouts and shit, bro? Yeah, you're bankrupt. Fucking pull yourself up by your bootstraps and work harder. Like, this has to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard in a while. Like, bro, they need to stop playing the fucking victim. Like, yeah, everybody has gone bankrupt. Everybody's been broke before. Stop playing the victim, bro. Like, on God, at this point, I really just think that they want fucking handouts or something. Like, y'all just need to focus on yourself first. Stop focusing on, like, other people. Come on now. Like, y'all fucking voted for this. You get what you get.
Hey, it's Joe from Georgia. So we're getting ready for the first domino to fall, and we know what happens after the first one falls. Well, the state of Nebraska, the governor, Jim Pillen, has asked the federal government for help because they're not going to be able to pay their bills this year. And here's the problem in Nebraska. They had over a $2 billion contract with the Chinese government to export soybeans to China. Well, out of that $2 billion, they've canceled all the contracts. So out of that $2 billion, $350 million was state revenue taxes. They're not getting any of that. And the governor also goes on to say that because the migrant farmers weren't able to work in Nebraska this summer, that those people didn't pay their taxes either. And the farmers who already have crops in the ground, folks, they've already spent their money. They're going to need help too because they're not getting any money from the contracts anymore. So Nebraska is the first state. And when you look at the Midwest, you're probably looking at Kansas, you're looking at Iowa, South Dakota, all of those places that are large exporters of grains to China and depend on migrant farm labor. They're not going to be able to pay their bills either. So here's the first one to fall. But of course, as we do know, a certain person in a certain house in Washington, D.C. at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, they know all about bankruptcy. I'm sure they'll be able to help.
Maybe y'all saw the news out of Nebraska today. Apparently our entire state is going to go bankrupt in 2 quarters. Me and my husband owned a cattle ranch here, and I can confirm that all of the cattle ranchers here overwhelmingly voted for Trump. We support him. We voted for him. Something like 70% of our entire workforce is undocumented immigrants, and they straight up are not showing up for work anymore. They have all either fled the country, fled the state. They don't want to get raided while at work, so they have just moved on to work somewhere else. And straight up, we are going to go bankrupt now. We are going to go bankrupt. And yeah, we voted. We knew that the immigrants would get deported and he was coming after immigrants, yet we still voted for it. Overwhelmingly voted for our own demise. I was talking to my husband last night, and I have to admit that it seems a bit foolish now when you think about it like that we voted for something that is now putting us directly out of business.
Well, in today's episode of F Around and Find Out MAGA edition, cattle ranchers in the state of Nebraska who voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump fear the impact on their businesses when Donald Trump implements his mass deportation program that he campaigned on for almost 2 years, that they voted for. And now they're realizing that if he actually implements it, they'll go bankrupt. he told you for almost 2 years.
Nebraska farmers facing bankruptcy due to tariffs and deportation adding to the strain. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What do you have to tell all people that voted for the red, the red states and all that? Let me know in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts? In the meantime, you're going to hear what people have to say according to you, their perspective, their thoughts, as we hear what the farmers are going through, both in Nebraska and Montana.
Maybe y'all saw the news out of Nebraska today. Our state has, in fact, gone bankrupt. Due to his tariffs and the loss of all of our migrant farm workers, our state has lost over $500 million. It's so bad that Governor Pillen had to call and ask him for a bailout, and we don't know if he's going to give it to us. My husband and I did used to own a farm here in Nebraska, and thanks to the loss of all the workers, we went bankrupt, and bankruptcies in our state overall are at a record high right now. It's still just so weird to me because we all voted red. Nebraska, every county, every district overwhelmingly voted red, and that seems to have been the reason that we're all out of business now. And that just doesn't make that much sense to me. If you vote for a party, shouldn't they protect you? Shouldn't they pass policies that will help you stay out of bankruptcy? And it's not just the farms, but the whole state is going under because we voted red. When you're a farming family like mine, I can see now that it is important to think before you vote.
It's about Justin Jones and Justin Pearson, the two young black men who were just expelled from the Tennessee state legislature by about 70 white Republicans because they had the audacity to speak up on behalf of and with their constituents, about 10,000 school kids who protested at the State House in Tennessee because those school kids don't want to get slaughtered in their classrooms by firearms. A week ago, I'd never heard of these two guys. I had absolutely no idea who they were. After watching both of them speak yesterday and today, the GOP may have kicked them out of the Tennessee State House, but they kicked them right up to the national stage, man. Holy shitballs. The speeches that these two young men gave and how they answered questions from the most condescending fucking white people.
Maybe y'all saw the news out of Nebraska today. Our state has, in fact, gone bankrupt. Due to his tariffs and the loss of all of our migrant farm workers, our state has lost over $500 million. It's so bad that Governor Pillen had to call and ask him for a bailout, and we don't know if he's going to give it to us. My husband and I did used to own a farm here in Nebraska, and thanks to the loss of all the workers, we went bankrupt, and bankruptcies in our state overall are at a record high right now. It's still just so weird to me because we all voted red. Nebraska, every county, every district overwhelmingly voted red, and that seems to have been the reason that we're all out of business now. And that just doesn't make that much sense to me. If you vote for a party, shouldn't they protect you? Shouldn't they pass policies that will help you stay out of bankruptcy? And it's not just the farms, but the whole state is going under because we voted red. When you're a farming family like mine, I can see now that it is important to think before you vote.
Well, the state of Nebraska and their Governor Pilling is asking Donald Trump for help. See, the state of Nebraska is facing bankruptcy. Why are they facing bankruptcy? Well, let me tell you why. Because of the tariffs and farmland, they can't afford anything, and a lot of bad state business decisions. Now remember, Nebraska is straight red. They are Republican through and through, and now they're about to go bankrupt because of tariffs, farmland, and not doing the right thing with their money. So Governor Pilling is asking Donald Trump for help. No words Trump will help him. See, this is what happens when states don't do the right thing and the federal government don't tell the states, no, you can't do this. So Nebraska, who loves nothing but MAGAs and Republicans, that's fine. You have that right. Now you're going bankrupt. and every state must balance their budget every year, Nebraska's in trouble. They are actually in the red, and I mean in the red big time because of poor decisions.
Yo, what up, beautiful people? So it's starting. Everybody was wondering when those tariffs was going to start to actually hit home. And it's here. This just came in. John Deere has announced a shocking round of layoffs, cutting 600 workers as America's farming crisis deepens. But Dementia says there's no problem. And TikTok is here to try to cover up and act like there's not a problem. But see, you can't run from the truth. Again, it's cutting 600 workers as America's farming crisis deepens. Once considered the backbone of U.S. agriculture, Deere is now slashing jobs due to collapsing demand, rising costs, and farmers pushed to bankruptcy under Trump's disastrous economic policies. Across the Midwest and rural America, farmers are facing tariffs, inflation, and skyrocketing equipment prices. With fewer farmers able to afford new tractors, combines, and equipment, companies like John Deere are being forced to make brutal cuts, leaving hundreds of workers without jobs. But this is, supposed to be making America great. This is America. How y'all feeling now, farmers that cast y'all vote behind that cause-paying piece of shit, that pig-faced bitch? How y'all feeling now? See, you let your racism guide your vote. You cast your vote because you Republican and MAGA. I hate to break it to you, though, because the windows are being cleaned, and I'm starting to see the filth and vile and disgust within some of y'all very own homes. The things that y'all support and stand by with your vote is quite telling. Some of it's very disgusting. Yeah, your party's not looking too great. It's not looking too great. 600 workers, I'm sorry that you have now lost your jobs and you're going to have to figure out some way to survive out here. But I'm going to tell you from someone who has experienced the struggles, find ways to stretch meals out. It's the advice I give you. We have always known the struggle. We've learned how to navigate and work around the struggle. Y'all about to find out just how black y'all are adjacent. Good luck.
I'm so excited for everyone to call me a bad person again in my comments, but guess what? I do not care about Nebraska going bankrupt in 6 months. I do not care. I do not care. Maybe a few other of those red states should go bankrupt in 6 months so the blue states can swoop in to save them, so they can understand that we are not the bad ones. We are not the poor ones. We are not the ones who cannot survive under the orange turds' crazy policies. But you know why I don't feel bad for Nebraska? You know why? Because I believe I heard 65% of their workforce is undocumented people, which means they're not coming to work anymore, which means work's not happening, which means all the farmers in Nebraska are going to go bankrupt because they all went out there and voted against their neighbors. 65% of neighbors who are immigrants, okay? Fuck around and find out at this point. You know what I mean? And of course, I do feel bad for those blue people in Nebraska who did not vote for this. So unfortunate. That's what you get for being racist and not wanting immigrants in this country, even though they're paying taxes and contributing.
So it appears as though Nebraska is about to go through some things. They're about to have their find out moment, if you will. In 2024, the state of Nebraska overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump. Knowing he was going to put tariffs on everything, knowing what a malignant shit show his first presidency was. And they overwhelmingly voted for him anyway. Party over country, I guess, right? So what Nebraska is about to find out is that in possibly 2 more quarters, or 6 months, the entire state of Nebraska is going to have to file for bankruptcy. They're broke. Why? Because in 2024, the state of Nebraska overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump. What they voted for, they were so hyped up to get rid of illegal criminals. That's what they thought they were voting for. What they actually voted for is eliminating their entire workforce. The entire state's farm labor workforce is basically vanished. Rightfully so. I wouldn't want to be there either. And then you get this pretty MAGA lady all over all these apps and all of the internet crying about how Nebraska's going to go broke and how they're going to lose their farms. You knew that. We told you. But you voted for hate. You voted for an ignorant, malignant, narcissist, rapist, felon. Because he was going to get rid of all the bad people. He is the bad people, you idiots. Now, there are a lot of blue-blooded people who are sadly stuck in these situations in red states right now. This video is not for you. I have all the love for you. You didn't do this to yourselves. What are you going to do now? What is going to happen next? If Nebraska is the first state to fall, and if and when Daddy doesn't send help, what are y'all going to do? Your generational farms, your generational wealth, gone. Because of your hate and a dipshit. I have no sympathy for you. We were screaming from the mountaintops. From the tops of the buildings, the tallest skyscrapers. We were screaming at you. We were trying to plead with you. Listen, for those of you who claim to do your own research, you might actually want to do some. Anyhow. Fuck around. Find out. Nebraska's first.